Bam! What's up, everybody? It's a Blue Drake, and today we're doing a live stream on Rogue System. I have been waiting so long to do this. You have no idea, like, how much it's taken me to get this. Right now, I am the only other person besides the developers at the moment who has access to this game. I have reached out to Scott Manley. I was talking to him before, so hopefully we could get him a build as well. But for now, it's all mine! All mine! I have been working with Michael. I have to emphasize there are some people who have been talking since the trailer went up and all that stuff that I made. I am not a developer. I have to emphasize that. I am not a developer. I am a completely separate entity. I have my own interests, my own, my business has a very separate, what's the word, goal, I guess, where I work with a lot of developers and I talk with them and I reach out to them. I've been talking with Michael, I think for about 6 months to a year now, following his game, talking to his game, and I told him, I was like, you know, I love your game. This is an incredible concept. I mean, I like Star Citizen, and I kind of like where Star Citizen's going. I like Elite Dangerous, and I like where Elite Dangerous is going, but your game fills that need that I've wanted for so long. Like, I played Digital Combat Simulator, and I've always wanted that in a space simulation game, and your game just fits the bill so much. And it's just one guy making this entire game. The only other person working on the game is the sound designer, and oh my god, you can hear the soundtrack. If he is not doing one hell of a job, oh, it's so good. But yeah, one guy is making this entire game, and he has a lot planned for it. And he is very, what's the word, tenacious, incredibly consistent, persistent. He's been working on this game for about 3 years now through a failed Kickstarter, and so he could have given up this game so many times, and he didn't. And he has kept at it, and now he has this really good foundation. I mean, there's not a load in this game right now. Well, I guess relatively speaking, because in my opinion, like, I think he's done so much. There's not an obscene amount of content, again, because there's only one guy, but he's at this point now where it's so good just as it is. All we need to do is just release it to the public. He'll hopefully finally start seeing some success and start seeing some money, and he can start reinvesting that into building all of the amazing features that he has planned. The game, and again, I gotta say, I'm not a developer. These are all things that I just know from talking to him, but at the end of the day, he has the last say in everything. So if there's anything I say in this live stream that isn't true, you know, Michael, go subscribe to their YouTube channel. Anything Michael says is truth. If he says something that contradicts me, he's right. But right now, he has the basic systems for the ships and orbits and everything planned in the game. What he has planned in the future is multiplayer. There's no multiplayer yet. He plans to have a completely open world. He plans to have just as much, I guess, gameplay and reason to explore the universe as, say, Elite Dangerous. So you will have your ship. You'll be able to do everything in your ship that you would be able to do and what that you'd expect to do. Walk around space stations, walk around other ships. Hopefully at some point, one of the last things he wants to implement is being able to board enemy ships, stuff like that. So just really everything you would expect from a typical space simulation game, except in addition, you will be able to pilot a ship as you would pilot a ship in real life. Like, it really breaks that fourth wall. You are a starship pilot. It's just like DCS. In DCS, if you fly an A-10 in DCS, there's a good chance that you could fly an A-10 in real life. It's the same thing in this game. Like, he studies physics. All of his ship systems are legitimate. Now, none of these ships exist, obviously, but this is as real as you could expect it to be in the future. So, I know I've teased you guys enough. We're gonna get inside the game. This is a pre-alpha build, so we might see some bugs. We might see some issues. And again, again, I'm not a developer, and I don't know what I'm doing at all. It was actually hilarious because I made the trailer and I showed it to Michael, and he was like, "Oh, that's so amazing! It looks so good. Thanks for, you know, showcasing the game in such a positive light." And he was like, "But you realize when you did the startup, you shut off your primary power buffer, right?" And I was like, "Yeah, I was actually really lucky that the engine started. I had no idea what I was doing." So I have no idea what I'm doing. But we're gonna get in here and we're gonna see what we can do. So there is a quick tutorial, and we're gonna try the tutorial. I don't know how far the tutorial goes, and I might have to, in fact, actually, let me Alt-Tab really quick and make sure that OBS, and let me get this live stream thing out of the way. Give me a second. Ah! It doesn't like Alt-Tabbing, so it might crash. Nope, 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 nope. Oh, right, I have to uncage my, there we go. Why is there an alarm? Kinda worried about this alarm. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I've never had an alarm before. I might have to turn off my dual GPUs. I don't think it's available for, it's not really well optimized for SLI yet. Here, actually, let's do that really quick. I'm gonna turn off my second graphics card. We're gonna try this again. I don't know where the alarm came from. I was not there the first time, and it's scaring me. Alright, let's see here. Well, actually, alright, we'll give it another shot. Okay, I do have the timer and stuff. Alright, make sure I don't Alt-Tab this time. Oh, Michael! He's actually here! What do you know? Hey, if you guys actually have, questions, Michael is in the chat right now. Michael Giuliano. I'm pretty sure I'm saying his name correctly. Yeah, you can talk to him, and he will tell you everything you want to know about the ship and the game. And hopefully I will be able to get in the ship and have it not lag. Because for some reason I think my second graphics card, it gets kind of iffy. Sometimes it's Skulker, stop spamming or I'm just gonna ban you off chat. Come on. Let's just stop. I will bring down the ban hammer. Single mission. Mission. Alright, good, no alarms. There we go. Let's see if looking towards the cockpit does that thing that it does. No! My dual GPUs. They can't take it. Ah! I know exactly where the problem is. I just need to figure out how to get there. Go backwards. Yes! As long as I can just not look at the one graphical thing that bugs out my computer, I can do it. See, just go backwards. Go backwards. You got this. Alright, there we go. Oh, I had it.
Alright, as long as I can play with it. See if I can actually... If I can get in the seat, I'll be fine. The cool thing is you can actually click on... There we go. Oh, whoops, I think I just ejected myself into space. Welcome to pre-alpha, folks. Alright, I'm gonna turn off my second graphics card, and we're gonna try this again, because we're, not looking to futz with the systems. I might have to shut down the stream for a second, so it'll say, like, technical difficulties, and then we'll start it again, and it'll be fine. Alright, so now the second graphics card is turned off. Hopefully, since obviously Michael's computer is different from my computer, when we actually have this released, and again, I have to say, I'm not a developer, but when he has this released, we'll be able to optimize it for all the different machines. There we go. So now I can look in the right direction that I need to look. There's one screen that's still glitching out. If I can just look at the screen. There we go. There we go. So, if you haven't seen, there is obviously some issues still with some of the aspects of the game. Like, for some reason, here, I'll show you. The screen back there, you can't see it because every time I look at it, it lags out. But the screen in the back, I think either has like a different resolution or something. So getting a lot of those really odd things synchronized between different machines and stuff is really complicated and critical, which is why this game has been in development for 3 years and it still has a lot of things that need to be smoothed out before release, and that's why we have testing teams and everything. But again, this game is in pre-alpha, and those things, while slightly still in development, should hopefully be smoothed out in the next couple weeks. Alright, so let's talk about the game. So as you see here, we have a variety of view screens. Now, in this game, maybe not for all the ships, but for this particular ship, your view out into the world is actually provided by view screens, and which are powered by cameras. So you have cameras on the outside of this ship, and you have view screens on the inside of the ship to give you this full 360-degree view. And you can actually use this to, you know, set the polarization on your displays and stuff, so you can, you know, look at bright objects, and if you get hit with weapons, it can knock out different displays and stuff like that, or glitch out your cameras, things like that. So we're actually going to turn on the engine now. And again, I am not a Starship pilot. Starship pilot in training. So hopefully this tutorial is going to tell me exactly what I need to do. And in the trailer, I actually turned off the power bus, and I kind of screwed up a whole bunch of stuff. Alright, so now we're going to ignite the engines. And then we're going to futz around. And maybe get ourselves killed? Probably. Alright, so the ship's powered on, and I'm actually gonna try to move now. The engine's up. Oh, dang! And you can see as I move the controls here. Yeah, I think I have my... Hold on, let me check. I think I have my pedals... Yeah, okay, my pedals are actually activated. Alright, so let's see what we can do. I almost want to get Michael on Skype and tell him... and get him to tell me how to do all these things. Alright, let's see here. I actually think I have to enable that in a very particular way. Look up here. And this game does have track IR support. Right now I don't have track IR enabled because for the live stream I didn't want to run into any unanticipated issues. I just wanted to be able to show off what I know works. So we're gonna fly towards this planet here. See if I can remember what my oh, I think I deleted the oh wait, no I didn't. No I didn't. I have the time dilation keys set. I love hearing the engine. The engine is so, like, beautifully creepy. And here's the maneuvering thrusters. You can hear the maneuvering thrusters here. It sounds like a beluga whale. I'm flying a whale. Robert, you were a weird character. Whoa! Here, hold up. I'm gonna press escape here. I'm gonna see. I'm gonna ask a question really quick. See what it says. Awesome. Let's do it. Okay, so I just asked Michael if he wants to be on the stream, and he totally is, which is gonna be great because he's gonna tell me how to not suck at this game. What's up, Michael? Can you hear me?
I can, yeah.
Awesome. What's up, dude? So this is totally casual and totally off the cuff. I hope you are not intimidated by everyone watching. But I figured this would be a great opportunity for you just to talk to everybody and help me not suck at your game.
Yeah, I'm wondering why you streamed it when you knew you had issues with it, but that's beyond the point.
Oh, yeah. For some reason, that one thing, it wasn't doing that in the trailer. But I think I've gotten through it now. As long as I don't look at that one panel, we're pretty much good.
Yeah,
so,
you can't. Don't try and move the seat when you're standing behind it.
Yeah, I launched myself into space.
Yeah, that's a bad place to be.
But anyways, so I guess we can just pretty much do what we did yesterday, except this time we get to do it live. Do you want to just talk about your game?
Or you can just shoot me questions and I'll give you answers, or I'll try and answer questions as they come up on chat or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. I guess here I'll just look at. Oh, whoops! I still have to remember to uncage myself whenever I alt tab. So one of the guys asks, "Will you be able to hire a crew in the game in the future?"
Yes. One of the expansions will allow for multi-crew ships, and the idea is that you'll be able to hire crew members for that.
That would be amazing. So you're going to have like AI crew members and possibly even player crew members with the multiplayer expansion?
Rogue System doesn't care if a human or an AI is at a station. It just sees data coming in. So
gotcha. It calculates everybody the same.
Right.
Gotcha.
So if this multiplayer is added, multi-crew ships should be more than possible.
Awesome. Yeah, because I saw a couple of the trailers on your actual YouTube channel. You had you had the ship and it was firing at the player ship, but you mentioned in the video that the AI ship was actually, it wasn't just controlling itself in the game engine, it was actually feeding input into the controls just like a player would in order to like orient itself. Is that's correct, right?
Absolutely correct. Yeah, the AI flies the ship just like the player does.
And that's going to be considerably more complex, right? Because you're not just saying like, oh, fighter go from point A to point B. It's like, oh, AI fighter, put your throttle up and then actually like orient yourself this way and press this, and button. Like you actually have to tell it how to fly the ship in order for it to fly the ship properly. Is that
right.
Kind of how it works?
That is exactly how it works, and it is a lot more complicated than just saying you rotate 20 degrees. You're telling the AI that it has to rotate the ship, 20 degrees or whatever.
Yeah, it has to move the joystick to the left in order to. That's pretty cool.
Of course, there's no drag or anything, so it has to know when to counter rotate as well to stop the turn.
Yeah. So the first iteration of the game is going to just be kind of like, I guess in a way kind of like proof of concept. It's going to be like single player, it's going to have all the fundamentals there. Tell me what like the first iteration of the game is going to include, because you have a lot of plans for the future and we'll talk about that. But just as far as like the first time you put out this game, what's going to be in the package when people can first buy it?
Yeah, what we're working on now, or what I'm working on now, is called the core module. And what that is a single-player military-like campaign. You're a part of a small security force for a colony that you live at, and you kind of protect freighters as they come in and out of your system. Blah blah blah.
Gotcha.
And your colony is invaded by this opposing force, and you're just trying to defend yourselves.
Gotcha.
And this is a partially dynamic, partially scripted campaign. And the reason I started this way, I would prefer to start with a sandbox, open-ended kind of gameplay. That's what I really want Rogue System to be. But if it's just me by myself working on this the entire time, there's no way that I could develop all the assets for that. So I have to start with this simplified version.
So you're going to kind of do what Elite Dangerous did, where you're going to put out the first iteration of the game and you make sure all the base level stuff is as polished and functional and legitimate as it can be, and then when that's all done, you'll move on to the next level and just build it layer by layer.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. That sounds... I think that's kind of a model that more development studios are taking, and I feel like that's a considerably more reasonable expectation with games nowadays, and I think ultimately you get a lot more done. So let's talk about... So you've got the core module, and it's going to have all the functionality of, like the ships, the systems, the environment, how everything works. What about the future? What do you have planned for the future? For like the first expansion, second expansion, like whatever, more content, new features? What are the things you plan on doing?
Yeah, and this will actually, I've seen a few questions come up, and this might answer a couple of those. Mm-hmm. The first planned expansion is called the Maverick module, and what that will add is the open-ended, buying and trading, own your own ship, outfit your own ship, make money any way you can sort of gameplay. Mm-hmm. From transporting goods to piracy to transporting. You could transport people, kind of a shuttle service. From one station to another, whatever. The second expansion is either going to be the first-person shooter aspect, to where you can board another ship and aggressively take it over, or you can be boarded and have to defend your ship, or it'll be the multiplayer. I'm not sure which one of those two I want to do first.
Gotcha.
But the first expansion will definitely be the open-ended gameplay.
Both of those sound pretty awesome, and I mean, as you saw, like before, we were walking around the ship and stuff like that. When you actually leave the ship to go into the space station and stuff, like there's no loading screen or anything. Where I just turned the canopy lights on in the back there, you could just press a button and that's an elevator, and it would just drop you right into the space station. You can just walk around just as if it was part of your ship or anything. And the same thing is going to be for docking and all that stuff. Am I correct? Like it's all going to be seamless. It's all going to be the same environment and everything.
It's all going to be as seamless as possible. I mean, there's always going to be times where you have to shuffle, new assets in and out, so there can be hitches here and there, but as seamless as it can be. In fact, what you're flying is actually two different ships. You have the fuselage is one ship on its own, and the cockpit module is completely separate. So you're actually passing from one ship to another, and that cockpit module can be undocked from that fuselage and used as kind of escape pod.
Oh, that's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. That's awesome. So those seamless transitions that we saw, like in the trailer and stuff like that, that's going to be the same when you dock to another ship and then you go in there and shoot everybody up and board it. That sounds pretty awesome. So let's talk about like the expansiveness. Like when you expand this game and you add in all of the different stuff to explore the universe and make money and all that stuff, what kind of scope are we talking? Like how many planets, how many solar systems, stuff like that?
You'll be able to set, and this is already in there, you're actually flying in a dynamically generated galaxy already. It's not a full galaxy.
Wow, really?
It's kind of like a partial portion of the galactic arm, but it's completely dynamically generated. It's always the same every time, and that's mainly for testing purposes. As we develop, we want everything to be, exactly the same, so there's no guesswork or no, weird things pop up that you weren't expecting because something new happened to be there, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But yes, eventually when you can start exploring different systems and stuff, if you create a new pilot, a new galaxy is generated at the same time. So every time you have a new pilot, if you want, you can put that pilot in a new galactic game world and start exploring that.
Gotcha. So what about multiplayer? Do you also plan on having the same like procedurally generated, dynamically generated galaxy for multiplayer, or are we not even at that point yet to even talk about that?
Multiplayer is it's already, the core of multiplayer is actually already in, and that what I mean by that is how data is handled, processed. Again, like I was speaking about, Rogue System doesn't care if a human or an AI is at the ship station. It's all the same to it.
Gotcha.
And that's the kind of thing you need for multiplayer.
So it's already built from the ground up to be networked.
Yes.
Gotcha. That sounds promising. All right, so let's take a look at the ship here. So, again, I know nothing about this ship at all. And just to reiterate, like, we are in a fully, like, there's a moon over there. If we wanted to, we could fly to that moon. Am I correct? Like, this is all, we're actually in an orbit of a planet. This is all generated. We're not just in, like, a little, like, 3D space. We're actually in an orbit of a planet right now. We're being pulled on by the gravity of that moon, ever so faint. And do you even simulate, like, the planetary bodies having gravity on one another?
Yes, I do.
Oh, wow.
That's how they maintain their orbits. The sun grabs a hold of the planets, and all their orbital mechanics are calculated. The planets grab a hold of their moons, and you're just kind of mixed in with all that.
So you could actually perform like slingshot maneuvers and everything in this. This is like legitimate, full-blown.
Yes, absolutely proper
physics. That's just like Kerbal Space Program on speed. All right, let's take a look at this planet here really quick. Hold on. Wow, I love the sounds. What was the name of your sound designer again?
His name is Michael Manning. He's a professional. He's for gratis work. He's done some amazing stuff for me, and I really appreciate it. Oh yeah, it
sounds so good. Okay, so I've seen some stuff in your videos. I do not know how to do any of them. This heads-up display is actually fully functional, I believe. I'm not sure if I have to press a button in order to activate my mouse in it, or if I can just click on things normally anyways.
The heads-up, I cannot see your live stream at the moment.
Oh, gotcha.
So I'm not sure exactly what you're looking at. Let me reload the page here and see if it comes up.
The HMD, I believe it is called, the hard-mounted display in the front center.
Yes, your HMD. If you click on that, cockpits or stations can have multiple HMDs. If you click on that, that's active. And then if you press, I believe it's the middle mouse button, you can slave the caret for the HMD to the mouse.
Gotcha.
And then caret around.
I may have debound all of my keys, so I'm not sure if that's going to be an issue. Let's see, ship systems. Let's see, NAS. Sorry, say it again.
Yeah, try the arrow keys too.
The arrow keys. Oh, I believe I deleted those as well. Oh, wait, I think I know exactly what that was. It was bound, and I deleted it. Hard-mounted displays, HMD. Caret left, is that what we're looking at?
Yes.
Gotcha. Assign those. I didn't know what that was, and I was like, carrot? Like a vegetable? What?
So, yeah, you have keys, you have bindings for up, down, left, right, and select. And like I said, you can also just use the slave caret to mouse.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, okay, so I've looked at the HMD and I've slaved my mouse to it now, and I can actually use the cursor on the HMD, I'm sorry, hard-mounted display. I'm just going to say hard-mounted display. So we can go through all these things. So here's navigation, and the navigation system shows all of the different orbits of the planets. And you can use this to actually calculate like slingshot maneuvers and stuff like that, correct?
Eventually, yes.
Gotcha.
Right now, that display, I even picked a top-down kind of display just because it was the easiest to implement and get all the core functions working. A lot of the trajectory calculations and everything, they still need to be coded. But just being able to have, that display there and being able to work with it is the first step for that. So
yeah, absolutely. Let's look at the system info. I'm not sure if I can look at the system info. So that actually brings up a really important question. Faster than light travel.
Okay.
How will that be implemented? Because right now there is, like Digital Combat Simulator, there is time dilation, so I can, forward time, slow time down, speed time up, which is great for single player, but not so great for multiplayer. How do you plan on having players be able to travel from one planet to another in multiplayer? Like, will there be a faster than light travel system, kind of like Elite Dangerous with subspace and hyperspace, or?
It's going to have to be.
Okay, absolutely.
You can't do suspended animation. You can't do time skipping. You can't do any of that because everyone gets out of sync.
Exactly.
So you have to have some sort of instantaneous faster than light travel.
Mm-hmm.
Now for single player, that's not the case. You can use you can set a trajectory to another planet and go into suspended animation. You'll wake up and you're there. You can skip all that time if you want.
Mm-hmm.
So there's different approaches for single or multiplayer.
So do you plan to have those two different approaches in the game? Like for single player, it'll have suspended animation, it'll have that stuff, and for multiplayer, it'll have faster than light, so there'll be two separate systems to cater to two different player bases?
Yes, they'll both be in there, and actually the faster than light travel will be in the single player as well once
Gotcha.
The first expansion is added, and you can go from system to system. You'll absolutely need that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah, that sounds pretty reasonable. What kind of faster than light implementation are we looking at? Like, is it going to have huge, bulky, faster than light generators that you can only have on larger ships, or is it just going to be kind of like a cheat that anybody can use, or something in between maybe? I imagine it's not going to be like a cheat, knowing you.
It'll be what I have planned is something like it'll be on mid to larger ships. So if in a smaller fighter, you would have to dock with your carrier or whatever, and that ship would transport you to a different system.
Gotcha.
Or if you were in like a mid-sized freighter, you would be able to do that. But small fighters, no, they definitely have to be carried by another ship.
Gotcha. Okay, that makes sense to me.
And it's a warp time space dilation sort of thing. You'll have to build up a certain amount of power to activate that, so it's not like an instantaneous thing.
Gotcha. I'm sitting here calculating burns and things. Except, no, I don't think that's going to do anything. Hold up, let me see if I can actually bind my time dilation and we can actually try and get to this moon. But I seriously doubt that's going to happen because I'm a terrible pilot. Let's see, where is that under?
That whole thing is actually, I made a change a week ago, and it kind of bugged out this whole system right now, so chances are you're not going to be able to do this.
Oh, dang. Oh. Well, we can try to at least move forward. I guess we could actually look at the weapons as well. I have not been able to get the weapons enabled, so maybe we could take a shot at that. And again, I think everybody does understand this. This is still pre-alpha. He's been working on this for a long time, but it's still like there's still a lot of polish to do, and bugs and stuff like that are to be completely expected. You guys know Squad, you guys know due process, you guys are very familiar with the alpha aspect. You've seen lots of bugs and lots of games, and you know how easily they're fixed and that it's all part of the process. So just so everybody knows, if anything goes wrong, that it is part of the entire process. So with that said, let's take a look at all of these different ship systems and see what we can maybe do.
Sure, I can talk you through systems as you look at them or whatever.
All right, so we have seat flight mode select. So we have normal and then to land. What does that do? I think
when you land internally and you use your landing skids, you want to be looking down, so that'll rotate your seat into kind of a down position so you can look down at the platform.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that makes sense.
In normal flight mode, you can then activate anti-G-lock, and that will eventually pivot your seat into the direction of the acceleration forces to help.
So so you're gonna have, I imagine, a variety of ships in this game, and the thing is how many you're going to have ships in this game. I'm sure you're gonna have AI ships and stuff like that. How many of the ships that are actually in the game will be flyable?
I plan on at least 2 player flyable ships.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully 4, but
Gotcha.
The schedule has a time allotted for at least 2 right now.
Gotcha.
If early access does well and I can pick up a couple artists, then we can do a bit more.
Gotcha. Cool. That sounds pretty reasonable. And then you mentioned like being able to upgrade your ship and stuff like that. Like what kind of depth will players be able to go into? Like we have this instrument panel and stuff like here. Like will they actually be able to completely overhaul their ship with like new systems and new functions, or is it going to be more like basic expansions and stuff like that? Just more speed, more firepower, or is it going to be more physical changes, like a completely different engine that has completely different management system, or like completely different weapon systems that have completely different, like, or is it going to be a balance between the two?
I'll answer yes.
Okay. that sounds reasonable to me.
What I mean by that is different ships have different mount ratings.
Gotcha.
And as long as a component falls within that mount rating, it can be mounted on that ship. So you can have a variety of different navigation systems. You can have a variety of different flight control systems. You can swap out the whole cockpit module and replace it with something completely different.
Oh, that's cool.
The plan is that when the Maverick module is released and you can purchase different things, there will be different manufacturer, and their cockpit styles and control schemes will be different. Some may be more old school, like this push button system. Others may be glass cockpit sort of things.
Oh yeah, and I saw some of your other ships. Like some of the ships have complete like hologram technology and stuff like that.
That's exactly what I'm talking about.
Gotcha. That's pretty cool. So if you've got a big budget, you can get like fancy ships with hologram stuff, or you can be kind of like a low budget Firefly crew and just kind of have like a patched together spaceship with like low technology buttons and whatnot, because buttons are so last century.
Yeah, let me interject there. About all these systems. I used to be an Air Force mechanic a long time ago, and the thing we had to worry about was operational life of different components, and that is modeled in this. The older a system gets, it develops tendencies to fail. Different aspects of it fail. So you will have to pay attention to how old different components are, replace them or have them repaired from time to time.
Wow, that is actually really, really cool. So so it will be kind of like Firefly. I mean, I don't know if anybody's watched Firefly, but they had like a patched together ship, and there's always things falling off and things in disrepair because they didn't have the money to afford your ship. So you'll be flying your ship and something will break, and you'll have to like jerry-rig your system in order to work. So you'll have like experiences like that, I imagine.
Yes, and that is already in there right now.
Really?
If you fly around long enough, you might see that one of your displays starts glitching out, a system drops offline momentarily. That's a tendency.
Oh, wow. That is really cool. So there's going to be like full damage modeling and stuff, and everything, like every little bit of the ship can get beat up, and then you can... Oh, that's right. You mentioned something earlier. You said you'll actually be able to do in-flight repairs. So you'll actually be able to be in your ship, and if something breaks, you can fix it like on the fly if you have the equipment or the skills. I remember you said something about that. That is the case, right?
Yes.
I said that correctly?
Yeah. How that works is, if you look in, the back of this prototype ship, there's compartments in the floor that don't have the coverings yet. Eventually there will be spare equipment in those. So in the middle of combat, let's say you lost your one of your fuel cells. If you have a spare component of that, you could replace that in the cockpit.
That's amazing. That's so cool.
Some parts will be outside the ship. Some parts, like the computers, will be inside the ship, and where you do your repairs will be based on that.
That is so awesome. Okay, so let's take another look at this control panel here. And I have to tell you, I know, I hope you don't feel stressed at all, but if you ever want to not answer something, feel free to be like, I can't answer that, or I don't want to answer that. No offense at all, because I am kind of putting you on the spot here. But this is great, and I think everybody's loving this info.
I've already mentioned in one form or another, so it's all good.
Awesome. All right, so let's look here. I've got just buttons I'm looking at, and I guess I'm about to quiz you on your own ship. So I'm seeing something here that says tank emergency overboard dump. It says emergency purge. What does that do? Can I push it and not explode?
If you had if you had, let's say you had a sensor in an oxygen tank, shorting out, which is modeled, you could purge that tank.
Oh wow.
And dump all that into space.
So it's like, it says RCM. I've seen that before. Is that like a maneuvering thruster?
RCM, that's actually called reactant core manager. The reactant core holds all different fuels and chemicals, components, elements, whatever you want to call them.
And it says SOV open, which doesn't look like a button. That looks like just a, I guess that just means, it says shut-off valve. Okay, so the shut-off valve is open. What is the shut-off valve?
Shut-off valve that will stop the flow of whatever is in that tank. If you developed a leak further along in the system and you wanted to save what was in the tank, you could close that shut-off valve and shut it down.
Gotcha. This is so cool, because like this kind of detail on the ship, like seriously, every single one of these buttons does something, and if a pilot knows like all of these functionalities and what they do, like this is incredibly visceral. All right, so let's keep going. I'm loving this. Okay, so see RCM tank select. So I guess this is just the different, I guess fuel cells or like fuel systems that you can select. Different
tanks in the reactant core. Tank 1, for example, has argon for the Vasimer-like MTS drive, and that uses an inert gas, and in this case it's argon.
Gotcha.
Tank 2 is hydrogen, Tank 3 is oxygen, and Tank 4 is another argon tank.
That's awesome. I'm looking here, as I select the different things, it says reactant core up here, and it's showing me the different tank levels and flow rates of the different. Oh, that's so cool. And this is the pump power, so I'm assuming if I turn that off, see, enable all pumps.
If you close the shutoff valve or you disable the pumps, well, disabling the pumps will just slow the amount of fuel that's being pumped out of the tank. So, for example, your MTS drive might burn weaker because it's not receiving enough gas.
Gotcha. This is cool. This is so amazing. And let me reiterate. Like you were an Air Force engineer, Air Force mechanic. So you were Air Force mechanic, and you studied all the physics of everything. So you were literally like constructing and designing a full-blown spaceship. Like this is like the A-10, like the DCS A-10 of the stars, and you were designing this entire ship, every little detail of it, as if it was like an Apache helicopter or something.
Well, yeah, I worked on the B-1 actually, but yeah, a lot of my experiences from that went into this. A lot of this is modeled on space shuttle and ISS systems. So even though this is sci-fi, it's in the future. It's
very much based in realism.
It does have a fundamental basis.
That is so oh my god, just massive nerdgasm right now. Okay, moving on. Sorry, laser cool enable. What does that do? We're not even. We're like in the first like 5 inches of this control panel. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but this is crazy. Like there's so much detail. All right, sorry. Laser cool enable. My bad. Go ahead.
Laser cooling is a backup cooling for your temperature management system. If your radiators are lost or damaged or whatever for some reason they're not functioning, laser cooling. We have laser cooling now, but it works on a very small, I don't want to say microscopic, molecular level. And what it does is converts heat into light, and that light is dispersed. And you can look this up.
Yeah.
So I kind of took it a step further and saying in the future it works on a larger scales. It's still not too efficient, but it will get you out of an emergency.
Gotcha. And this again, this is all stuff that's like in the ship right now. Like this all works. All of these systems work.
I would say 80% works.
80%. Well, I mean, it is early development, but that's so cool. Okay, so and this says just enable all pumps, and it's actually so here's loop pump power. And then there's something up here, the bus enable. That was the thing that I remember because I made the trailer and you were like, you turned off your power bus, right? That wasn't the startup procedure at all, Blue Drake. What are you doing?
You have a fully modeled electrical system. It has two system buses, and they back each other up. And you have a high voltage bus for things like your shit. What the hell was I saying?
Oh, don't take your time, man. This is a Blue Drake channel. Trust me, this is the most professional I think this has ever been in the past year.
That feeds your weapons. That feeds your powered armor. That sort of thing. Anything that requires a lot of oomph to get it to work.
Cool.
But they each back each other up. So when you turned off that primary bus, you still have the secondary bus backing it up, and the main high voltage bus backing both of those up. Plus, you have your batteries.
Gotcha. Awesome. I knew there was like 3 buttons I had to push in order to start the engine, and then I just pushed a couple extra, and I was like, I hope none of those screw up me pressing this button and making the engine start and making the all I need is the cool whoosh sound. As long as there's a cool whoosh sound, I can upload this video. That's all I need. Okay, so sorry, moving on. So the loop pump power here, let's see, radiator enable. I'm gonna press that. I don't know what that just did.
Radiator enable is actually going away. I don't need that anymore.
Oh, really? Okay. What did it used to do?
I used to have it to where the radiators could be cut off.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of a redundant thing, and it's really not needed. So I'm going to get rid of that. That's kind of one of those buttons that just don't need to be there.
Gotcha. And then radiator deploy. Let's see.
Now that one. And close.
Oh, let's see if I can. Oh wow. Oh, here's the exterior of the ship. I didn't know that was a thing.
Press F1 to go back in.
Oh, sweet. Okay, that's awesome. Hello, outside of ship. Oh, there's guns on it. Yes.
There is.
My gear deployed right now. How do I make that not?
That. Yeah, I'm adding that panel
Gotcha.
next week. That'll have exterior lighting, landing skids, and all that sort of.
Awesome. Ah, that's so cool. What are these? What are these solar panels? These things.
What you're looking at right now, I assume you're talking about the big panels top and
bottom. Yes.
They are your radiators.
Oh, they're my radiators. Okay. I guess radiating heat.
Just like yes, just like the radiators, just like the ISS has radiators. A lot of people think radiators don't work in space, but they absolutely do.
Gotcha.
You just don't. And conduction, you only have radiation.
Wow.
Large. Now those are in combat. You take out someone's radiator, they're going to start overheating.
Oh, wait a second. Thing I can undeploy.
Yes.
Oh yeah, and then... Oh wait, go away. Radiator still up for some reason.
Systems. You have System 1 radiator and System 2 radiator.
Oh, I see.
The tutorial actually explained that.
Oh, well, this is a Blue Drake channel, Michael. Psh, tutorials are for noobs. See if I can make this top one go away. Yeah, there it goes. Haha. Done. I'm going to explode, though, aren't I?
I actually just added it last week, a couple of days, and it actually works pretty well right now. Mm-hmm. And something like this, I'm not going to ready at first and all that stuff, so yeah. I need something to get people, just settled in.
Oh, here's a question. And on planets. I know we kind of talked about that before, but I guess, we again, because I don't think we stream yet.
But since it's not a part of the core module, I'm on the list.
We can do all the things we can do. Like, it is in a perfect world, if you actually have the budget, like, it is something you do want to do. It's not like, oh, that'll never be in the game. Gotcha.
Oh, yes.
All right,
like
sweet.
I said, I have to plan on it just being me, myself.
Oh, wait.
Like, if great, but I have to maintain this one-person schedule.
So I just realized I put my radiators in, and now it looks like my temperature is going up.
Yes, emitting as much energy from your cooling.
How is that going to affect my ship? Will I just explode after a while? Just shut down, or
Eventually your engine will just shut down.
Gotcha. Okay.
Catastrophic failure is pretty uncommon.
Uh-huh.
You probably, I hate, he has an armor rating, it goes from 100 to 0, and then he vaporizes. I can't stand it. It drives me apeshit.
Mm-hmm.
I much rather have it more realistic, as would happen in real combat. You get hit, you lose enough systems, and you're just a derelict. You're just floating there in space until you run out of oxygen, or you freeze, or burn up, or whatever.
Gotcha. That's awesome. All right, so I have my radiators deployed now. There's a System 3 here. Can I have a third radiator?
Yes. Different ships can have 3 or 4 or however many coolants.
So that's kind of part of the whole expandability system, like where you'll actually be able to expand your ship and whatever.
Yes, and modability. Again, remember, Rogue System is completely moddable from ship systems to weapons to complete ships to whatever. Players can add their own stuff.
So I'm actually kind of worried here, because while we've been talking, I've just been noticing a steady creep of more red lights on my left panel here. And I'm assuming that's my fault. So it says System Bus 1 Undervolt, System Bus 2 Undervolt, Bus 1 Overload, Bus 2 Overload. What does that mean?
I would assume what's happened is something started to overheat and it damaged your electrical system. And
it says fuel cells, and then the output is in the orange or the red or something, and it says purge, and then the electronics control says load is in red.
Fuel cells, these actually work like space shuttle fuel cells. They have to be purged every so often. Mm-hmm. And actually, it's kind of buggy right now. They don't need to be purged as often as is occurring in Rogue System at the moment. But they do need to be purged to remove corrosion from the electrode or diode inside the fuel cell.
How do I purge this thing?
There should be a purge button on there.
Purge button. Is it
fuel
like fuel cell purge? There's emergency purge, but I don't think there's a flash cool vent loop. I'm assuming it's going to be up here. Hold it. Recharge.
Fuel cells is at the top of the left console next to the batteries.
Okay, top left console next to the batteries. That would be helpful if I knew where the batteries were. Hold up.
Batteries, left console, all the way at the top on...
Oh, I see. Okay, I see batteries. And
now,
then...
fuel cells are to the left of that.
Okay, and fuel cells... Oh, purge!
And you have to purge each system.
I have to do what?
Purge each system.
Gotcha.
There's two different fuel cells.
I believe I'm purging both. I hit the purge button on both.
And that does take some time.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, so I am purging those now.
If your electrical system is already damaged from overheat, purging isn't going to do much.
Gotcha. Okay, but I'm okay. So there's some other things on here. It says TMS loop over temperature.
Yes, temperature management system. The coolant in one of your temperature management cooling loops is overheating.
How do I make that not be?
The radiator needs to be deployed.
I have that done.
You can try increasing the pump speed.
How do I do that? How do I increase the pump speed?
The pump power switch. It's a 3-way toggle.
Let's see. Hold up. Pump. Oh, I see. High. I have it on high now. Pump rate is in the red.
Yes.
Okay.
That's pumping your fluid faster. You might get some damage from the system being overpressurized.
Yeah.
But it'll put more coolant to the radiators faster.
Yeah, because the pressure is in the orange, I guess, and then the pump rate is in the red, and then the fluid level's going down because I'm assuming we're pumping fluid.
That's if you overpressurize a system, it's an automatic response to lower the fluid level in the system to decrease pressure.
Gotcha. Okay, sounds cool.
Yeah. Again, it's all very
yes. Yes, that's good though. Like that's what we want. Like there's no other game like this besides DCS, but DCS isn't a spaceship simulator. Like this is an incredible niche. Hold up, let me check really quick. I'm gonna Alt Tab, and hopefully that doesn't kill everything. I'm going to check and see if anybody has. Nope, nobody has any legitimate questions because the chat is ridiculous and this is a Blue Drake channel and nobody takes anything seriously.
And actually, one question was, what makes Rogue System different from Elite or Star Citizen? I think what makes Rogue System stand out is this attention to detail in the ship systems and how they are modeled and how they react to pilot input, how they react to damage, how they just react to age. Again, things can degrade with age. And to me, that's something special. It's more hardcore flight simish style, and that's something I always wanted in a space sim. And the other two, they're great. I'm actually looking forward to both of them. Star Citizen, Elite. I'm a big fan of both.
Well, they kind of fill different kind of niches as well.
Each one is a different beast, and I think they all have their own place. And although I know, I'm catering to a very, niche market, or niche style player, I think that's okay, because they were kind of overlooked, and maybe this will fill that gap for them.
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think that. But yeah, no, I love this kind of game. I feel like I feel the same way because I play Elite Dangerous and I'm like, yeah, this is great, but I really want more. And you play Star Citizen and you're like, yeah, this is great, but I really want more. And then you play this and you're like, yes, I know not everybody's gonna like this, but this is for me. Like this is what I want.
I definitely, when I hear comments out of the Star Citizen camp, it's this isn't realistic. In the future, we wouldn't have all these buttons and stuff. Blah blah blah. Maybe not. But I can't imagine any pilot that would step foot into any ship if there wasn't a way for them to interact with the systems, on a low level as a backup.
Yeah, and not to mention, no matter how this goes, like, this is fiction. I mean, you have Star Trek, you have Firefly, you have Battlestar Galactica, and will that be how the future is or not? I don't care, but that's not what we're here for. Like, we want to play, like I want to feel like, when I see Battlestar Galactica, it's like, I wonder what it's like to actually be one of those guys. Not like pretend, because there's loads of Battlestar Galactica games, but like, if you were actually there and they were to sit you down inside that cockpit and you were just to start pressing random buttons, like, I wonder what that would feel like. I mean, not even just pressing real buttons, like, what would it feel like to actually learn to fly a Viper as it is in the show? And I think that's what this is. Like, whether it's realistic or not, like, it really fills that market. Like, it is, and it's the same with Star Citizen. I mean, Star Citizen has buttons and stuff like that. Star Citizen isn't necessarily realistic, but I mean, it is fiction, and it is something I think a lot of people have wanted to experience, whether it's realistic or not. Like, that's almost a superfluous statement. It's like, is it realistic? Who cares? Like, this is as realistic. If you were to put something in space and it were to have a pilot and you were to fly it as a human being and stuff like that, and without like ridiculous holograph technologies or whatever the future brings, this is how it would be like, as it is shown in Battlestar, as it is shown in Firefly, as it is shown in Star Trek. This is what it would actually be like, and I think that's really important. Tell me if I'm completely off my chain here.
And the cool thing with Rogue System is you can have holographic displays. You can have it can be all glass cockpit like you saw in the prototype. That was stuff that I was developing then, and I kind of had to set that aside so I could develop the functionality for all these hard mounted controls and such. But they're all going to come together in the end, and you'll be able to have what you want. If I haven't made what you want, models will make it. So.
Oh yeah. So this game will have mod support. That is something that's probably really critical.
This game was built with modders in mind.
Awesome. Do you have any plans on doing like expansions and stuff like that? Yep.
Excuse me just a second. There was a really good question. Blind mode, what I do is all these color codings that you see on the buttons, they are configurable. You can change those to suit, your visual limitations or whatever, however you want to put it. If you're, you don't see blues real well, you'll be able to change the coloring to suit your eyesight.
That is actually great, because I don't know if you know this, but I'm actually colorblind.
Yeah, didn't know that. Those, you can change the colors already in the game state file. Eventually there will be UI elements, so you can do that.
That's awesome. I think I just blew my pump, because now all of the it says here cool pressure, TMS cool pressure, TMS pump overspeed, VMS fault, bus tube failure, and my temperature management things are going absolutely haywire.
Yeah, you probably
my pump rate and everything is okay. Can you explode yet?
No.
Okay.
There are triggers. You can actually have. There are some conditions where you have catastrophic failures. For example, if you have like a hydrogen tank, and that develops a leak, and an oxygen tank develops a leak, and they co-mingle, that can explode, and that can explode catastrophically. If you turn off, if your superconductor for the Vastamer engine is destroyed while you're in heavy thrust, you have what I call a plasma burn through. That plasma runs at about 1,000,000 degrees. It would just vaporize everything.
Wow. Yeah, that's really cool, just to because you put all of these, it's almost like an emergent gameplay. Like, you put all of those things in independently, and then you have weird, crazy things that come together and make completely unpredictable, but realistic occurrences.
And see, that's what I'm counting on. That's why I spend so much time working on all these core systems. Because I want that to emerge. There's that aspect of gameplay that's just going to come about because all these systems are intermingling.
Because it's only a matter of time when multiplayer is enabled and you've got 5 players on a ship and the pilot's up here and he's like, oh my gosh, we just blew the primary power buffer, and you're in a battle and you're yelling to the guys in the back and you're like, get the power, the fuel cell out of the thingy and put it in the whatever, and everybody knows all the lingo and stuff, and then they're going through repair and all the teamwork and stuff that comes from that, and everybody understanding how to get this ship to actually function. Those kind of experiences, I'm just I drool over.
And you get where I'm going with this then.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I totally understand this. I can't wait to see, just I don't know, I don't know why it keeps coming back up. Maybe it's because I've been binge watching it recently, but Firefly, you got 5 guys on the ship and they're all there to keep that ship in the sky, and it's not you have games and stuff that try to kind of accomplish that, but they feel gimmicky because it's press this button and repair this thing magically, or press this thing and you fly forward magically, and it's kind of cool, but you're that's not what the people were experiencing in the show or whatever. That's not how it would have been if I was actually there. But this is how it would be. If you're flying the ship, you're flying the ship. If you need to replace a primary buffer panel or whatever, you have to replace a primary buffer panel. It's not pre-scripted, gimmicky, weird stuff. You'll actually have a Star Cruiser that you can have. You could probably, honestly, if this comes out with multiplayer and everything, I could see 5 YouTubers doing an entire show of them just exploring the galaxy, and it would literally be just as legitimate as the Star Trek show, because it would all be real.
and they wouldn't even have to act. Like, it would just be, they're on a starship. The starship is just as real as it is in the show. They're exploring the galaxy. Let's film it and upload it as like a TV show, and it's just going to be just as legitimate as anything else you've ever seen. Like, that's crazy. I know that's like a completely off the like crazy thought, but that could totally happen. Like, this kind of detail with this stuff it's insane. It's blowing my mind. But yeah, okay. So I'm gonna say, let's see. Do you have any other questions that you want to ask, or that you want to, answer?
I've been trying to keep track of the chat, and every so often,
try to ignore the vast majority of it.
Someone asked if the game has a plot. Yes, the core module again is a single player campaign. It's the way the campaign is laid out. You run through a series of dynamic missions during the week, and then at week's end, you will get a scripted mission based on your performance, so you kind of know how well the campaign is going. And the campaign should be about 4 or 5 weeks long. Now, this is the phase that we're entering into, building the gameplay. We have all this low levels, ship system stuff working, and now it's time to start layering, all this gameplay on top of that. And this is about when we're going to enter early access, so we can have, get people involved, hopefully get a bit of funding so we can add a few team members, and have you guys, enjoy Rogue System as it gets developed and help us test at the same time.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. Well, okay, so I would say the last hurrah for this stream. Unless I have destroyed this ship beyond repair, and I've got to say, there's a lot of red lights here, but we might still be able to fire a weapon. Do you want to walk me through and see if we can actually shoot a gun?
All you should have to do, the weapon system should be up and running in the mission you've selected. All you should have to do is unsafe the weapons with Control 1.
Control 1. I'm assuming there's not a button for that.
No. Weapon panel hasn't been added yet.
Okay, let's see here. Controls. I forget exactly. I'm just going to set it to something really quick. Weapons management. And all of these things, everything will have like a clickable counterpart. Like you can bind these if you want on the keyboard, but everything will have a clickable counterpart. Am I correct?
Yes.
Awesome. All right, let's see. I'm going to set a weapon safety. Let's see. Assign. Just, I don't know, T. Go. All right.
And then, of course, your trigger has to be bound too. But
I'm not sure. Let's see. Weapon safe. Let's see if I can T and then Y maybe? Just make it simple on me. Weapons management. Trigger or fire link?
I believe it's primary trigger or trigger.
I'll bind both.
It's not fire link that links both weapons together.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, hold up. So trigger. Yes, so weapon safety and trigger. This is primary select and stuff like that. Let's see if we can... Go. Fire. I'm not sure if my guns are going to be able to fire. I think I screwed up my ship beyond repair.
I'm about a minute behind you in the stream, so I can't see what you're looking at.
Oh, that's totally fine. Die. See, we could try... Is there a way to go back to the main menu? I don't think there is. And restart it?
No.
Oh, God. Yep. Hold up. My ship is dying. My ship is dying. my HMD just went haywire, and my oh God. Okay. I'm sorry, ship. Okay, those catastrophic failures you're talking about, I think they're happening right now. Everything is blinking. Everything is going crazy. My actual visual display is glitching out. My HMD is glitching out. Everything's going haywire. My temperature management system is dead. It's not seeing anything. Everything. Can I even move?
I think this is beyond repair. I think I've completely screwed myself over.
At this point in gameplay, what you would do is, if your comm still worked, you would send out a distress. You would enter suspended animation, and in that interim, you would get picked up and find yourself, hopefully, back at base.
Gotcha. Okay. Awesome. Well, I'm going to assume that this ship is not going to be able to fire, but maybe for the next live stream or something we'll be able to get that done. The game is called Rogue System. You can subscribe to their official YouTube channel. What is the channel name? The URL? I think it's like Digits Crossed Incorporated?
I think it used to be, it was the old company name, which actually there was a problem here in Texas with it. I think it was Fingers Crossed. I'm pulling up my YouTube page because I don't even remember what it is. Let me see. My channel.
Well, worst case scenario, you can go watch the trailer and just go all the way to the end, and I have it linked there.
It should be actually listed under Michael Giuliano.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Okay, let's, here, I'll actually just, oh, wait, I keep forgetting I have to unlink. I love the fact that my ship is exploding and dying. That's I don't know why. That's just so cool to me. Hold on, let's see. I'm going to zoom to the end here. YouTube.com/fingers. I'll just Rogue System. Michael Giuliano. There it is, and it is youtube.com/fingerscrossedint. Or you can just YouTube search Rogue System and click on Michael Giuliano. And you can go check out all the stuff that he's put up for the game for the past 3 years, because it's been a long time coming. And the game...
Actually, one of those years was a complete wash. I got... After the Kickstarter didn't pan out, I got swamped with work, and I had to put Rogue System aside for 6 months. It took 6 months to secure funding. Then I had an engine change, which ate up another 4 months. So... not quite as much work has been done in that 3 years as I would have hoped.
Gotcha. But it's coming together now. Hold on, I'm actually going to try to get outside of the ship, and I'm going to see if I can't go look at... Let's see here, do I have the actual... Oh, wait, I think the, Oh, I won't be able to...
I'm just getting to the point in the live stream where things start going bad for you. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. I want to click this panel. Come on, click the panel. Click the panel! Well, this will be good footage for the testing team, trying to get that panel to not glitch out my FPS.
Yeah, I definitely want to work with you and see. I have not seen that before. You're the only one that's had that problem, and I want to find out why.
Yeah, well... This is definitely all this information, and I imagine is good information. Because I remember we were talking about that yesterday too. I was like, I can't even look. Ah, no. But hopefully, I mean, it should be a simple fix. I mean, all of these things, just play testing. Because I imagine play testing for one person. Like, how many testers do you even have?
We just went to. We started internal testing with image space testers about 4 weeks ago.
So a legitimate testing company?
Yeah, well, Image Space Incorporated, they do R-Factor, they do R-Factor 2, and they have their own internal testers.
Oh, cool. So hopefully all of these things will be able to start really like stress testing this game and get all the kinks worked out.
Yes, and of all the testers that have been looking at this in the past 4 weeks, no one has experienced the problem that you had with that one, looking at that one panel, so I definitely need to work with you and figure out what caused that.
Gotcha. Sounds good. Awesome. Well, I think that is going to be it today, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks so much for watching. The game is called Rogue System. And do you have any ETA on when you think it'll be out?
I'm hoping. I'm really pushing for the first public early access release within the next month, maybe month and a half.
But we're talking months. We're not talking like years or anything. Like, this will be available to the public within the next 6 months, maybe even within the next 3 months.
Hopefully not even that long. And again, yes, it will be early access. We officially we haven't even hit alpha yet. We want to use early access to start getting all that gameplay in there. And
gotcha.
The extra funding will help us, with team members and trying to get more in there more quickly.
Gotcha.
So, it is what it is.
Yeah, no, that sounds great. All right, well, keep an eye out for Rogue System, everybody. Again, thanks for tuning in, and I will see you in the next video. Love you guys. Bye!